Hi, Darlene here. My last video was my Sunday chat, only I did it on Saturday. And I talked about ways I could help you and questions you wanted to ask me. Well, I did have someone ask me something, and so today I'm going to answer it. The question was, what are your goals for 2020? So I'm going to go ahead and give you my goals for 2020. As you will see in just a bit, I didn't want to just give you any old goals or make my goals sound like resolutions. Resolutions are hard to keep, but goals are something that should be done regardless of whether it's the new year or not. So I'm going to go ahead and teach you a little bit about how to set goals, and then I'll tell you what my goals are. I believe when we set goals, we need to set what I call SMART goals. Some of you have probably learned about SMART goals. SMART goals help you to target in what really it is that your goal is. So there are several ways to make sure that you have good goals. And this is the way I choose to make my goals. The word SMART is an acronym. We can take it literally too, because it's an intelligent way to make goals. The first letter in SMART is an S. S stands for specific. If we make our goal too broad, then it's like a resolution, or it's like, oh, I'd like to do this. Hopefully I can. But a specific goal is, I want to do exactly this. This is what I want to do. The M in SMART stands for measurable. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to get it accomplished by. So it's exactly how much of it am I going to do? I'm going to, well, let me give you an example. I'll just go ahead and tell you what my first goal is. My first goal is to start my plants indoors. Well, that's pretty specific. My S for specific. Measurable. How many plants am I going to plant? I will plant my cold weather plants. I've already started doing that. I'm going to plant 1 or 2, maybe 3 of each type: cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage, chives. I listed them for you the other day when you watched me plant them. Specifically, those are the ones that I'm starting right away. Then I'm going to plant some flowers, and I will have a list. I may not tell you when I'm telling you my goals, but I'll have a list of flowers that I'm going to plant. I'm also going to plant tomatoes and peppers and some squashes, cucumbers. That's pretty measurable. I know exactly what I'm going to plant. So I need to be specific, and it needs to be measurable. The A in SMART stands for achievable. When I set my goals, If I said I was going to plant 100 tomato plants, that is not achievable. I do not have room to start 100 tomato plants, nor do I have room to plant out 100 tomato plants. I can't achieve that. If I said I was going to start a palm tree, that is not achievable because I don't live in a climate where I can grow a palm tree. It's not achievable. So when I set my goals, I need to make sure that my goal is something I can actually accomplish. So specific, measurable, and something I can actually accomplish. It's achievable. The R in SMART stands for relevant. Is it relevant that I'm even starting at my plants inside? Yes, it's relevant because, well, yes, I could wait a few months and go to the big box store or my local feed and seed and pick up plants that have already been started. But I don't know what kind of dirt they were in. I don't know a lot about them. When I started myself, it's more relevant to me because I know exactly how they were treated. And the other thing that makes it relevant is that I get great pleasure out of doing it. And that's for a gardener with a very, very small garden like mine. Yes, it's the fact that I can grow my own food that's relevant. But the other thing that's really relevant for me is that I enjoy it. It's something I get great pleasure out of doing. And when I start my own seeds and they come up and become little plants, and then I plant them out and they grow and become big plants, that gives me great pleasure. It's just something deep down inside me that means something special to me. So yes, very relevant, specific, measurable, achievable, and relevant. The T in SMART stands for time-based. With planning out gardens, for instance, the time you watch for when your first and your last frost dates are, you do all of your planting and growing and harvesting based on those dates because you won't be even close to successful if you don't. Right now, if I went outside and I don't have a tomato plant already coming up, but if I did, if I took it outside and planted it today, by this evening it would be dead because I have about 5 inches of snow on the ground outside and it's still coming down. So right now would not be a good time. So in a few minutes here, I'm going to go ahead and I came up with actually 6 goals that I want to tell you about today. So here are my 6 goals. Well, you kind of already know the first one. My first one is to start 90% of my plants, measurable, 90% of my plants indoors to plant out in my garden areas at designated times based on my frost dates. Goal number 2, to actually begin and finish the book that I've been going to write and have it done within the next 12 months. I've actually written a couple of books, and one is completely, totally outdated. It was how to make a web page, and that was back when it was mostly totally all code, and I wrote it specifically for the students I was teaching how to write code. And nowadays everything's been updated, and the book is not all that It's just outdated. The second book that I wrote was and you can find it up on Amazon. It's just a little pamphlet, really. It's kind of a stretch to call it a book, but it's a little devotional. So the book that I thought I wanted to write was I thought I wanted to write a novel. As I've been thinking about it over the year, I actually started it and got like a little over a chapter done in it. It's like it wasn't making sense. So I think really what I might want to do now that I've gotten a lot into gardening is coming up with something somewhat garden related. I don't know, but I do want to get started on it, and I want to give myself 12 months to get it finished. Is that achievable? Yes. Is it relevant? Yes. Will it get done? I hope so. I'm going to try to hold myself to it and hope that I get it done. Goal number 3 is to continue journaling my garden. I started about a year ago. Well, first of all, back up. I'm horrible at journaling over the years. People have given me these beautiful little books to keep track of, to do journaling, my thoughts for the day, devotional books with places to write, 365 devotions, blank pages to write my thoughts, diaries, whatever. I have not ever been able to accomplish it, except for I started about a year ago with my garden journal. I saw it suggested I should write a garden journal. And guess what? I'm still working on it. I have all of this that I don't know if you can see it on the camera. A bunch of, it's like a whole year's worth of what I planted, when it came up. I also keep track of when I start a batch of kombucha, when I work with it and start a new batch. And I keep track of everything. I keep track of what I've ordered, when it arrived, what condition it was in, whether something grew tall or whether it died, or when I picked it, or just my whole gardening journal. My goal this year is to keep on doing that for 12 more months. Is that specific? Yes. Is it measurable? Yes. Is it time-based? Yes. Is it achievable? Yes. Is it relevant? Yes. Goal number 4. Goal number 4 is to get my pressure cooker tested out to see if it all still works okay. I want to get this done by June because beginning of summer is when I might start getting things that I want to can. Last year, I mostly just did things that I could water bath. I've got a nice pressure cooker, but it's been quite a while since I've used it. And I want to make sure that all the seals and gaskets and everything are good. And all I have to do is take it to my, take it into town and have them look at it at the, I forget what it's called. The university has gardening. Oh, I can't think of it right now, but y'all know probably what I'm talking about. And get it all tested so that I know it's safe for me to use. And the pressure cooker's done a good job for me in years past. When I lived down on the coast, I used to can salmon and tuna fish in it all the time, and green beans and pears and various other things. My phone is telling me that it's time for me to watch Callie Kim's weekly live. I should go and do that, shouldn't I? If you don't watch Callie Kim, you should, because she gives lots of gardening tips and lots of good ideas. But before I quit, I'll give you my goal number 5, I almost forgot, is to plant more perennials during the spring and summer than I have before. The more perennials I plant, and the word more is kind of semi-measurable. And I will get that more specific as I kind of get into the process. But the nice thing about perennials is that I don't have to replant them every year. Already I've got a little bit of asparagus. I need way more. And we've got raspberries and blackberries. And I've got some kale that has come up several years in a row, and some Swiss chard. But I want to plant more things that are perennial. Goal number 6 is to stay on top of my secretary and treasury duties for an organization that I tend to procrastinate. And I get things done by the time I have to give reports to everybody, to the board and everything. But I tend to wait till the last minute. And so I would like to make sure that all my reports are done at least 2 weeks before they're due. So that's my goal there. Those are my 6 goals. I hope you enjoyed listening to my goals. I enjoyed coming up with them. So folks, those are my 6 goals. And yeah, there are other things I'd like to accomplish during the year, but those are the ones that came to mind when I was sitting down to write out goals. As I progress through the year and I have other things I want to accomplish, I will certainly let you know. If you've got other questions for me, I enjoyed answering this question. The person that asked me, what are your goals? Those are my immediate goals for 2020. And I would love to have you ask me more questions. So down in the comments, be sure and ask me some questions, or go back and listen to my last video. Ask me questions there, either place or on any of my videos. I try to look at anytime anyone makes a comment, I try to look at that, and if it needs an answer, I'll try to answer it. I'm glad you came along with me today. If you're still watching, I really appreciate it. The way that this channel can grow is if you like and share. And I'm anxious to share my year with you. This is only January, and it's unbelievable that we're almost in the middle of it already. But I really enjoy bringing you videos. And if you watch very many of them, you notice I've got different ways of bringing videos. Sometimes they're just recorded on my phone. Sometimes they're edited on my phone. This particular one is done on a combination of my phone and my computer. Whenever I want text in my video, it's really awkward to do that with my phone. It's doable, but not easily. So that works a lot better when I am on the computer. Anyway, thank you for watching today. I appreciate it. Let me know what your goals are too. May the good Lord richly bless you. And I will see you, yes, you, on the next video.